On May the 17th, 2022, a Venezuelan, Juan Vicente Perez Mora, is recognized by Guinness World Records as being the oldest validated living person in the world, as he turned 113 years old. And it's kind of weird because in the Dai-Nichibo Temple in Japan, they found a monk named Shin-Yokai who's already 5 times older. He recently celebrated his 550th birthday, and it deserves a birthday cake.
Bloody hell! Yeah, I'm not sure he can even blow out the candles. I'm not even sure he's still breathing. I mean, it's just a mummy. So why is it considered alive? That's what we're gonna figure out today. You're about to find out, how will eating needles make you immortal? Why did the Japanese monks drink lacquer? And most importantly, how did the monk manage to stay alive for 550 years? It was a typical Japanese farmer's day. Shin-Yokai was walking, carrying a vessel full of plant fertilizer. But suddenly, he accidentally grazed a passing samurai, and the contents of the vessel spilled right on the warrior. Deeply offended and angered, he attacked the poor man, but he turned out to be not so helpless. Defending himself, the farmer killed the warrior. A terrible sin haunted him, so Shin-Yokai became a monk. The life of the Buddha's follower was difficult, as there was a bad harvest in the country and the monk suffered from hunger. But he managed to benefit spiritually from the situation by giving up creature comforts, including food. At the age of 96, he underwent a ritual of self-mummification and froze in meditation for many years. In this kind of limbo, the monk remains in the Dai-Nichibo Temple to this present day. And 550 years is not the limit, because Shin-Yokai is considered to be still alive.
What?
What? You don't believe in this legend? But the followers of Buddhism consider it a reality. I mean, here is Shin-Yokai in person. You can even meditate with him. Buddhists believe the monk is in a deep trance. Otherwise, how can we explain the fact that the body hasn't decomposed for more than half a millennia? Well, a normal corpse starts to rot after just 24 hours. Besides, we don't know how old he really is. The monk doesn't have a single document confirming his identity and date of birth. For example, an Indonesian named Mbah Gotho claimed to be 146 years old because he was born in 1870, while in Indonesia, formal registration of births began only in 1900. That's why nobody believed in the old man's incredible longevity, and Gotho was deemed a liar. But the examination of documents proved the data to be genuine.
All right.
Strangely enough, the person who lived more than 100 years was subjected to such a detailed verification procedure. But nobody has any question for the 550-year-old monk.
Oh.
But what if the method of preserving the monk's body really works? So how did the monk manage to keep his body in relatively good condition and keep it from decomposing? It's all thanks to Soku Shinbutsu. It's a practice of Buddhist monks that involves voluntary self-mummification. And it's not just about discipline, meditation, and contemplation. The physical component of this process can indeed explain the secret of perfect mummification from a scientific point of view. It all begins when monks are still alive, but they feel there's little time left. Then they start a slow process of starvation and stop eating barley, rice, beans, basically all the products that contribute to weight gain. The monks go on to a diet called Moku Jikigyo, literally meaning eating a tree. This special diet consists of whatever is predominantly found in a nearby forest, such as tree bark and roots, nuts and berries, and even pine needles. Even river stones were found in the stomach of one of those mummies. And that's the first secret. Because the thing is, apart from the fact that this type of food strips the monks of their body fat and muscles, the body loses nutrients and moisture. So there's no suitable environment for bacteria, and the rotting process doesn't start. This diet usually lasted 1,000 days, although some monks repeated the course 2 or 3 times. Before embalming, they probably drank tea made from urushi. It's the sap of a Chinese lacquer tree, usually used to make lacquer. Imagine drinking bottles of nail polish, one by one. But that ingredient was necessary to make the body toxic to insects. Thus, the monk could have remained in a state of meditation for hundreds of years, and his body would have remained intact. That's the second secret. The third one is to run lit candles along your body to dry your skin. And the last point of Soku Shinbutsu involves something that will help us live beyond our death. Japanese Buddhist monks had their own unique method of mummification. In addition to diet and meditation, they used cold. Natural mummification is very rare and requires extreme temperatures and dry air to preserve the body. So, before dying, the monks spent time in a small, tight pine box, which parishioners lowered about 3 meters into the ground. After death, a monk was placed in an underground room for 3 years to keep drying. The body became a statue frozen in prayer. This method is also used in cryonics, which involves having your body and brain frozen. It's based on the hypothesis that a person can be revived after freezing. All this is done with the expectation that scientists will make progress in this sphere in the future. In the United States, 143 companies are involved in cryogenic freezing, and the market volume is estimated at $1 billion. The primary purpose of this procedure is to freeze life in your body. This is done by substituting blood with special solutions so that it doesn't turn to ice when frozen. Depending on how much money you have, cryonics clinics can suggest 2 possible options to spring for. The first one is to get your whole body frozen. Maybe in 100 years, your body can be rejuvenated or cured using nanoparticles and nanobots. The second one is to preserve only your head. And perhaps in the future, you'll grow a whole new torso from your own stem cells. The assumption that such a method would work dates back to the 18th century. However, little progress has been made since then. No client has yet been unfrozen. But researchers believe that future scientific advances in this field will help bring frozen patients back to life. Does this mean that Shinyokai's mummy can be brought back to life as well? Russian scientists studying Siberian permafrost determined that an organism can come back to life and even function after death. In the ice, they found a bacterium which turned out to be alive after 30,000 years of freezing. After the defrost, it immediately started hunting amoebas. A bacterium needs very little to exist, unlike such a complex living organism as a human. But the monks greatly simplified their biological needs, which might have allowed them to be so well preserved, but not alive. Forensics concluded that Shinyokai is dead. This conclusion was based on the understanding of death by an ordinary human being and modern medicine. The monk's biological functions have ceased, and he has neither pulse nor breath. But on the other hand, patients who consented to have their bodies cryogenically frozen are in the same condition. They're not dead, but rather deanimated. In other words, they're in sleep mode. What if the dead monk could be brought back to life just like a frozen person? The same opinion is shared by Buddhists. They believe the monk went through Soku Shinbutsu to wake up from his sleep. It was not for nothing that the special mummification technique kept Shinyokai's body intact for 550 years. And if they're right, it's entirely possible that one day this mummy will open its eyes.
The ritual of self-mummification is so popular among Buddhist monks that this phenomenon was even leaked to TikTok. In these shots, a monk named Luang Fo Yai, aged 109, is in the final stages of his Sukushimbutsu. Perhaps if at least one monk agreed to undergo the ritual under the supervision of doctors and scientists, the secret of eternal life would be revealed to us, huh? Are you ready to eat needles and stones and drink lacquer for immortality? Amaze us in the comments. Also, check out this video and find out how exactly high or low testosterone levels could change your life, and not in a good way.